Welcome to the BS Machine. This is your host, Tommy Kendi. I will be your guide through these episodes in 2023. One of the cool things about the BS Machine is that you always get some sort of gold out of every episode. Whether I'm getting guests on, and they're not just any guests, they are guests that have a cool story. Or whether it's me talking and giving you all my wisdom and all the things I've learned in life. Either way, there's always one piece of gold you'll take away from these episodes. So please enjoy and welcome to the BS Machine. Whoa! Good evening, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, whenever you're listening. Good midnight, whenever you're listening. How you going, guys? This is your host, Tommy Kendi. I hope you're well, and I'm here. I'm gracing your ears for this episode number 123 of the BS Machine, and it is a Sunday night for me, and it is a whatever day for you. If you are watching me on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, how you going? I haven't had a haircut for a while, so you'll see I've got a bit of a bouffant going on, a little curly in the old hair, but yeah, if you're joining me on Spotify or the Apple Podcast app or wherever you're joining me, welcome. It is an absolute honour to be here with you guys today, and I say that with an actual literal hand on my heart. Oh, what a blessing it is to be able to talk to you guys and teach and learn and provide and receive. It's all amongst us, and look. What I want to talk about today is, for some of you, it's a no-brainer, but who knows, you might find something in today's podcast that will really gain either some momentum for you, or it will provide some extra insight into the way that I look at the world and the way that I do these practices. And what we're talking about today is this incredible balance between body, mind, and the spirit. And I talk about this all the time, and you know what, I'm talking about it now, aren't I? But there's I haven't really dived into this proper balance, and I'm going to give you my take on it and how I sort of look into these things, and also what I've experienced in the past and what I'm experiencing now, this balance between body, mind, and spirit. And it's a weird one, isn't it? Because like when I look at socials like Instagram, or I don't know, whatever the others, like TikTok and all that type of shit, you know, a lot of people do talk about this stuff, and they talk about it really well. But it's so far and few between, isn't it, when you actually hear someone talking about this and you believe them. And you can really tell when someone talks about something, whether they've actually experienced it or whether they've just heard someone else talking about it, or I don't know, looked it up on fucking, what's that thing, the Chat GPT or whatever. So it's a real fine line when you're providing this information to talk about it from a place where you've really experienced it. And for me, I've experienced all aspects of it. I experienced zero balance. I've experienced too far over, where it was just like body, mind, spirit, and I was like a fucking psycho going for it. And I feel like where I'm at now, it's an interesting. I feel really balanced now. Like I do feel that I've got this grasp, and I've really harnessed what balance is for me. I'm not saying it's going to be the same thing for you, you know, and I find that there's people that have to be like intense about it, and you know that might work for them, maybe it doesn't, who knows, maybe they can only keep that up for a certain amount of time. Because I find that with this balance of body, mind, and spirit, you really have to find a way to exist in the current climate, exist, you know, in the 3D world. And so if you go too far over the edge, it's not really balance, is it? You're just doing it. You're going for it, and you know, I don't know how much space there might be for other things. Because look, the way I look at the world is that, as I said before, we live in this 3D world where, you know, there is, you know, you got to pay bills, and you've got to do things, and of course you've got to stay healthy, but you got to do stuff, and we all have our stuff that we do. And so when it comes to this balance, I find that with me, that where I'm at the moment is that I don't mind being a bit naughty and going off, and maybe, I don't know, a couple of times a year I'll go out with the lads and give it a bit of a nudge, or it might be that one day a week I might just eat like shit. Yesterday, oh man, I've got to tell you, before I go into talking about balance, yesterday I actually woke up this morning feeling fucking hungover, and I didn't have any alcohol yesterday. Yesterday, I woke up, I had my normal little brekkie, which is actually quite healthy. And then one of my best mates, we went to the movies, and we watched the new Mission Impossible, which is actually really good. 3 hours, a bit overdone, but it was good to watch. Anyway, we were going to watch Mission Impossible, so we did gold class, because that's what old people do now. And we're sitting in gold class, and I ordered a couple of burgers. Well, not a couple, they're the mini burgers. And I also got a fucking large popcorn and a large no sugar Coke. Did you hear the no sugar bit? That was my balance yesterday. Anyway, eat all that, feeling fucking horrendous. Like, I actually walked out of the cinemas going, holy shit, I feel disgusting. Anyway, go home, and I see Nick, and Nick's like, oh babe, what are you doing for dinner? Anyway, we're like, all right, cool. I looked up Uber Eats, and I got a burrito. So I get a burrito, and I'm like, oh my God, after that. And you know what? We had a friend come over, and she bought us a fucking cheesecake. So after that, I had a cheesecake, not a full cheesecake, but just had a little slice of a cheesecake. Anyway, wake up this morning, to say the least, I feel like absolute shit. I looked into the mirror, my eyes were puffy. I was feeling absolute rat shit. Like, literally, one, that I've been punched up, and two, I felt like I had enough alcohol last night to last me, which I didn't. I didn't even touch a beer, didn't even smell it. So I'm giving you my sort of balancedness, yeah? So, and I woke up and I was feeling all shit about myself. I'm like, Tom, dude, do you know what? You're 80% of the time, you're quite healthy, you eat healthy. Most of the time, you do your things. Like, the first thing I did when I woke up this morning is I was feeling like shit. My body was hating my guts. What do? I did some breathing, jumped in a cold shower, and went and did some yoga. After that, feel fucking great, right? So, cool. I can jump back on the wagon and be in my practices that I know that make me feel good. Anyway, so for me, there's a really good balance, whether it's the mindfulness practices, whether it's nutrition, whether it's exercise, emotional intelligence, stress management. That's a huge one for me at the moment. There's, around stress, there's so much going on. I've just taken over a new business. I've been on a bloody TV show on Channel 9. If you're in Australia, I've been on TV on Channel 9. There's so much going on. And at the same point, I've got to upkeep my usual stuff that I do with my coaching clients, my corporate stuff, and the yoga and whatever else, right? So there's a few things I wanted to talk about in terms of balance and what that really means for me. And I think a lot of you will relate, because the listeners of the BS Machine, most of you guys, as I meet you and I talk to you and whatever, you guys love calling yourself on your bullshit, right? You love calling yourself on your BS. And when you call yourself on your BS, two things happen. You create full self-awareness, and you allow yourself to reflect on what's actually going on. And then you can step into these mind, body, and spiritual therapies that allow you to have this really cool balance between spirituality, between life, between 3D, 5D, and whatever the fuck else. And then also, when you do that, when you call yourself on your own BS, and when you've got these balanced outlook on life, then what you'll find is you'll start to attract, and you'll connect with the type of people and the type of community that you want to be around, right? So I'm not saying you have to do these things, but I would definitely suggest that you have a little stock take of what's going on in your life right now. And, if you've got your health rocking, your nutrition rocking, then keep doing it. If it feels good, awesome. With your mindfulness practices, what are your mindfulness practices? I can give you mine. My daily mindfulness practices are obviously yoga, because I fucking love it. Breath work, fucking love it. The cold therapy, fucking hate it. But I just know that every time I get in the cold, the moment that I get out of the cold, I feel unbelievable. My body's awake, my body's buzzing. Meditation, that is one for me, which should be a daily practice, but I feel like I always have to force it, and I don't really find, I don't find the give me after cold yoga, all that type of, I always get the gimme after. I'm like, oh, I feel that. But with meditation, it's like, I know it's good for me, but there's a few things there that I need to work on. I need to, I do it. I'm not saying I don't do it, but I'm saying it's one of those areas. So when you do a stock take of your mindfulness practices, the meditation, breathing, yoga, all that type of stuff, whatever your mindfulness practices are, how you going? Holistic nutrition, or you just your nutrition, how you going with that? Exercise, movement. What are you doing? You're going for walks, you're going for yoga, what's happening? Emotional intelligence, such a big one. This idea of actually looking at the world in an intelligent way, because some of us, all of us, I believe that, most of us sometimes act and behave in ways which is not really intelligent in any way, shape or form, is it? Whether it's you're experiencing someone else being like a child, or whether you're being the child yourself, you have to explore these concepts of emotional intelligence and the impact on your overall well-being. Stress management, as I said before, effective stress management techniques. There's, breath work. There's all this type of stuff. There's journaling, self-care routines. What are they? Sometimes one of my biggest stress management management techniques is just fucking laughing. Like, I'm not saying forced laughing. I'm saying that when I get something wrong in my life, to have the ability to just sit back and go, oh my God, like that, I royally fucked that up, and holy shit, did I do a good job of it. This ability of having humor and joy. And look, guys, ultimately, what are we here to do? Ultimately, we're born, and then we have this bit in the middle, and then we fucking die, right? And that's pretty much, if you look at it, that's it. So it's like we're on this. You get in your car and you put the GPS on, and the GPS takes you from point A to point B. That's pretty much what life is. But imagine if every single day we're just focusing on the point B part, which is for a human, which is the bit where we die. So imagine if you wake up every day, it's like, oh fuck, I'm gonna die. So let's just get there quick, smart, eh? Or, if you're constantly focused in a car on GPS, if you're constantly focused on getting to the destination, then you'd crash straight away, because you have to be present. It's like, oh, I've got to turn left here, I've got to turn right, I've got to go a little bit faster, put my foot in the accelerator, I've got to brake here and pull back a bit. I've got to look in my rearview mirror. There's so much going on all the time. And that's what life is. There is so much going on. And if you're constantly focused on, and it doesn't have to be the death part, even if you have a vision or a goal or whatever the fuck, and you're going towards it, man, experience it. There's going to be so many ups, so many downs. Like, our job is to full out experience every part of it. And that's when true spiritual and inner growth happens. That's why you're listening to this podcast. It's that personal development, that finding that inner peace and exploring different ways of getting there to getting to the different areas in life. And ultimately, what that takes is balance, right? You can't always be on the go. It's going to affect your physical health, it's going to affect your mental health, and it will definitely affect your spiritual health. So this idea of balance, I mean, even as I'm talking about it right here with you, what are you getting out of it? Like what are you thinking for yourself? I mean, as I said before, take a stock take. What has to happen? What's the stock take? Like, I mean, where are the areas that that you are feeling like you're not giving enough, or you're giving too much? You know, there's and what you'll find, I mean, this is the funny thing, man. Like, I was actually talking to one of my clients about this the other day. Is it's like, if you love what you do, right, and you've found what you love to do, and you know, it's like it excites you so much. Is it purpose? Is it who cares, whatever the fuck it is, right? But when you love what you do and you're excited about where that's going, but you haven't actually achieved the end result yet, isn't it obvious that you're definitely on your way? Yes, I know there's so many unknowns, and I know this myself big time. There's so many unknowns, but you are on the way. It's happening, right? And I was listening to a podcast the other day, and he was saying that it's like, if you can, and it's, I mean, we all know this, but it's a good reminder. If you can think it, or if you can visualize it, or you can see it in your mind's eye, then it's available, then it's there. So this is what, you know, Einstein constantly talked about, is that whatever the time thing, it's like that time continuum. It is that everything is infinite, and it's just infinite, you know. So if you can, you know, I'll give you an easy example, like just total whatever. Let's say your dream is to eat an orange, right? And immediately you think of the orange. So obviously the orange exists. It's there. You don't have it right now, but the orange exists, right? Because you've thought about it. So all you really have to do is go find the orange. And that might mean that you go on a little journey where you check, you know, on your phone which fruit con the fruit is open, and you got to go to find it, and then you get in your car and you go to buy the orange, and then you eat the orange, and it's like, oh my god, that's the best orange ever, right? So you got the orange. So same thing, it's the same concept when you're living, is that as soon as you think about it, if you have a creative idea, then it's there, it's available, it's ready for you to do. But it's not going to happen if you don't have balance. You've got to find this balance. And guys, these mindfulness practices, these incredible practices that we all have access to, you fucking know whether you should be doing them or not. You know yourself, 100% you know. As soon as you say, oh, I should be doing that. Yeah, I should be meditating. Oh, I should go to yoga. Yeah, you should go to yoga. I should try breath work. Oh my God, how fucking easy is breath work, right? If you've never tried it, get onto YouTube, Google Wim Hof. There's an 11-minute breathing technique there, which I still use some days when I can't be bothered doing the psycho breathwork stuff. I still use it. It's 11 minutes. I'm like, it's 11 minutes. Who cares? Just do it. Just lie back, and all you have to do is what you do every other day, which is just breathe. That's it, right? But he just tells you how to do that, and you'll feel good. So this is our job, guys. This is what we're here to do. We need to find balance, and the balance is between the mind, body, and spirit. We all know what the mind is. The mind is those little things where thoughts happen. That's where our egoic nature is also, which we won't talk about that in this podcast. There's the body, which is like your physical body, the flesh, the blood running through your veins. What else you got? You know, the heartbeat, that's the body. It's the stuff you can, when you pinch your skin, you can feel it, right? That's the body. It's 3D, it's here, you know, it's there. Then the spirit. Your spirit is your being, it's your essence, it's your connection to this incredible outer world. It's your connection to, you can call it God, to Buddha. It's your connection to your higher self. I'll call it the higher self because that's what I like. That's what makes sense for me. But man, who knows? God could be up there. Fuck, how cool. I don't know. Is he? I just call it my higher self because when I tune into the spirit, I always get these incredible moments of clarity, and I love those. But I want to use all of myself. I want to use my mind, I want to use my body, I want to use my spirit, I want to use all of it. But I need to have balance. So the fact that I ate like shit yesterday and did the movies and had my bloody popcorn and had the burrito or whatever, that showed me that the results that yielded is me waking up with a puffy face, looking 400 years old and feeling like shit, like I've been punched up. So am I going to do that again today? Probably not. Well, today I started my day well, but I knew that that's how yesterday was going to go. So, I mean, look, one of my best mates is coming back from the US in about 3 or 4 weeks. Man, it's going to be an awesome night. All the boys are getting together, all the rock and roll boys. I'm going to go out and have the night of my life. Am I going to feel like shit the next day? Fucking oath. But I don't care because I know that I'm prepared to have that balance. And that balance might be something different for you. For me, it's that I like that and that's fucking good for me. So there's no wrong. There's no right. It's whatever your balance is for you. But as long as you can take ownership, you can be responsible for yourself, you can have full out, self-awareness and self-responsibility, such a big one. Also self-reflection. The self-reflection is that taking that stock take, and you want to invest the time. And I can sit here and go, all right, guys, this is what you need to do. You need to write down, you're not going to do it even if I tell you what to do now, you're not going to do it. Well, you know what? That actually, in my experience, I know when I listen to podcasts, so I'm just talking about my experience. I'm not saying you wouldn't do it, but in my experience, when I listen to podcasts and they tell me to do something, I usually don't do it because I get other things from these podcasts, especially the personal development ones, where I'm like, oh, yeah, that works for me. I'm going to do that. This way, and then I have creative ideas as I'm listening to the voice, and as you're listening to my voice, you'll have little creative ideas. How do I take a stock take? What are those things that are underneath the carpet that I need to pull out and go, hey, is it my relationship? Is it the fact that I'm feeling unhealthy? Is it something like maybe just going, I'm just going to make that phone call and go to the doctor and just check out that thing that's sort of been hanging around for a little bit? What is it? Be powerful. Like, there is absolutely no wrong, no right. Whatever you're doing is perfect for where you're at. There is no other way to do it, but you've got to find that balance. And the strategies that you can do that to start with is simply one, which I think you should do that. Take the stock take, do that. Just go down, and I'll list them out now if you like. So the stock take that you would need to do, and maybe you need to come back onto this because I reckon there's probably 9 or 10 of them. I reckon the first one is around mindfulness practices like meditation, breathwork, yoga, all that type of shit, right? Your nutrition, exploring the connection between nutrition and your overall well-being, exercise and movement, the significance of regular physical activity in maintaining a healthy mind, body and spirit. What type of different exercises would you like to do? What's the benefit? What are you to do? All right, next one, emotional intelligence. Like, what would take a stock take, emotional intelligence and the impact it has on your overall well-being. Go into it, guys. Like, maybe not that one. Maybe that one doesn't make sense for you. Maybe it does. Stress management, as I said to you before, that's a big one for me. Stress management, having to manage and harness and do all these things that are happening in my life right now. Like, I'm using my techniques. They're fucking cool. Stress management techniques. It's important. It's really, really important. And you know what? Some of these might mesh into each other. Your inner growth, spirituality. What are you doing for it? Are you growing, or are you being half-assed? What's going on? Like, are you actually developing you as a human being? If you're not, fucking stop it and start developing yourself. Go into some inner growth. Put yourself into situations where you will grow, where you will, expand, where it's fucking hard. It's not easy. Have those tough conversations. That's true spiritual and inner growth. Self-reflection, self-awareness. We talked about this before. Self-reflection is having this ability to reflect what you're doing now, what we're doing now, the stock take, do the stock take. What else we got? I mean, look, you can go into other stuff like, do you want to do like acupuncture or Reiki or aromatherapy? Go into it, look into it. Is that for you? Is it not? And then ultimately this will all and this is where I reckon it gets like, I know I'm on track when my conversations through my conversations through the day involve my growth, and I'm attracting people towards me where I can have these higher level conversations, where we can chat about the cool shit, about what's really going on for you, man. Like, talk to me, what's happening. And I'm the same, having real fucking conversations. They're so powerful. Those boring conversations are so fucking boring. What have you been up to, mate? Yeah, fuck, no thanks. I'm done with that shit. Not because I don't want it, because sometimes they're that's even balanced too. Sometimes they're good conversations to have, but I want to have proper conversations. I want to see people. I want them to see me. And that's what's going to create connection and community for you. You're going to start to pull those people towards you. And then this, guys, ends up in work-life balance. What does that mean for you? It's similar. Some people like to fucking have sex 3 times a day. Some people like to have sex twice a week. Some people twice a month. I don't know. Similar shit. It's a balance. It's like, what works for you, what works for your life. Anyway, love you guys. I think I shared what I wanted to share today on episode number 1, 2, 3. And thank you for listening and being with me and listening to my voice. Apparently I have a radio voice, and someone said that to me this week. You've got such a radio voice. I like my voice. It is sort of like a radio voice, and I don't know, sounds good in my headphones. And anyway, whatever, I'm just about to yapping on. But anyway, guys, love you guys. Give us a shout out on, give us a review or a shout out, or give us a, something. It helps keep moving this podcast forward. And thank you so much for listening and being here. And if you're watching YouTube, I just wave to you. How you going? Spotify, see you later. Apple Podcast app, see you later. Give us a review. Give us a comment. Share the podcast. And I shall see you next week. Rock on, guys. Well done.